cactus and succulent growers, it's Lynn, and in today's video I've got some gorgeous new cactus cuttings from my very wonderful friend Sylvia, and also I'm going to include an update in this video on my Epiphyllum German Empress that has been in recovery for the past few months. And I made a video at the time that it was struggling, and I gave it a good repot quite a few months ago now. I'm going to show you in this video what it looks like today, and it's really come on so much. But first of all, I want to show you the amazing new cactus cuttings that I got from Sylvia. So here we go, here they are, and these are two gorgeous new Ripsalis cuttings. And Sylvia very kindly, a few weeks ago, she sent me a photograph of a lovely Ripsalis that she had, and she wanted to know if I knew the ID, and I didn't have the ID on it. I said, Sylvia, I'm not sure, it's a little bit similar to some of the ones I've got, but it's not one that I've got myself. So Sylvia very kindly sent me two lovely cuttings here, very healthy cuttings from her plant, and it was a lovely surprise because I didn't know I was getting these. So Sylvia, thank you so much, and very excited to see. I actually just put them into this jar and just sprayed a tiny bit of water at the bottom, literally left it for a few hours, and they've already, you can see, in a few hours, looks like they're starting to form a little tiny bit of roots at the bottom there. So I'm going to be potting these up today in this video and showing you the potting up. And I'm going to do that before I show you the update on the Epiphyllum German Empress. So here we go, wrote the little label out, Ripsalis variety from Sylvia. And the reason I say variety, because I don't have the ID. Sometimes Ripsalis cuttings can be difficult to ID until you see them flower. I have quite a lot of different Ripsalis in my collection, some in the polytunnel hanging up, as you can see here. And I've also got quite a few as well in my office on the hanging plant stand, many different varieties of Ripsalis. I also have another Ripsalis out here hanging up in our yard because it takes plenty of rain, and it's a little bit similar to the one that Sylvia has sent, but it isn't the same. It's the leaves, as you can see, are very different. They're more sort of pointed, and it's a different one. This one is Ripsalis alveolata, and it has gorgeous little orange flowers all the way down in the spring, and often in the winter. This is sort of a bit of a winter bloomer, and it puts on a lot of growth during the summer months. So it's similar, but it's not the same as the one Sylvia has sent. As you can see, the leaves are different on this variety. So very excited to have this new variety in our collection. Now when it does flower, she'll be able to ID it, and I'll be able to get the ID for Sylvia as well when these flower in the future. Very excited. So I've made the soil mix up here, and I make a bit of a different soil mix with my epiphytic cacti. With my desert cacti, I use a lot more sand and grit, but with the epiphytes I will use a little bit of houseplant soil. It's the only time I really would use houseplant soil, and I would make a mix of about 40% houseplant soil, about 20% grit, about 20% sand, and a bit of perlite as well in there. And I'll give it all a good mix. And the reason why I use a bit of houseplant soil is because epiphytic cacti like to have more moisture. They don't like to dry out for long periods in between watering, unlike the desert types of cacti. Desert cacti, such as these here, they do like to completely dry out before watering again. And in the winter time, I don't water them at all. I keep them totally dry and cool over the winter. With epiphytic cacti though, I do still lightly water them even over the winter time, and as I say, many are winter flowering as well, so I let the soil just dry out slightly in between waterings. But during the summer I keep them quite well watered all the time, as I've got a couple out in the yard, as I mentioned, that just get plenty of rain and they do well. So that's why I don't want a soil that's very dry and that dries out very fast like desert cactus soil. This one is why I've got a bit more houseplant in there as well, but a bit of perlite and grit and sand as well, just to give it a bit of variation too. And I have a pot here for putting obviously potting them up in. And I've got a little hanging basket as well, so when I pot this up I can put it in there, hang it up, and I'm going to put it up into my office with all my other hanging Ripsalis plants, because it gets nice light in there, but a little bit of indirect sun without too much strong sun. Ripsalis, same with Epiphyllums as well. Ideally prefer a position with bright light but away from strong direct sun. So they do well in my south facing office where they get filtered sun on the stand. Now, as I say, I've got the pot here, so I'm going to be putting a bit of soil at the bottom. And then gently placing these in. And the other one here. Press it against there. And because these are epiphytic cacti and they haven't got roots as such yet, so I'm not going to be going ahead and watering them as I would if I was just repotting a normal plant that had roots. I'm going to be keeping these more on the dry side until they do root. But what I will do is I'm going to be spraying them just very lightly with water, with a mister spray, just enough to dampen the very top surface of the soil, and so that the soil doesn't stay bone dry. As I say, they're in epiphytic soil now, so this soil is a lot more spongier and will hold water more readily than my normal type of cactus soil would. So I only need to go very light with the water, just enough to encourage rooting. So Sylvia, thank you so much for these awesome cuttings, and thank you so much for your amazing friendship and support on my channel. Sylvia is absolutely incredible because she watches all my videos, and Hans's as well, and is very, very supportive and a lovely friend. So thank you so much for your generosity. So there we go, just gently pressing that in there, and I've got this little brush just to get off any of the bits at the bottom, so the little new shoot at the base is not going to get covered in soil. There we go, press down like so, and there. Happy days. And then, as I mentioned, putting this into here. These are great, these little hanging basket holders. Then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's hanging up on the plant stand with my other Ripsalis. Woohoo! Now here I am in my office, and apologies if it's a little bit grainy because it's not good for filming in the office at the moment. It's sort of been very, very cloudy outside and dark, but it's plenty of light here for the Ripsalis, and I've put the lovely new Ripsalis cuttings here from Sylvia hanging up on the plant stand with all my other Ripsalis. Now here is my German Empress, Epiphyllum German Empress, a few months later after it has been repotted, and it is doing really, really well, guys. If you didn't see the original video that I made on this cactus at the time, and it was doing really bad, it was going very, very yellow, and it got a lot of damage, I think, from last year's heat wave. I had it out in the yard with our other epiphytic cacti hanging up over the fence, and it just didn't do well. And then I took it into the house and it just continued to get yellow, dying back. I propagated it, and the cuttings kept dying back as well. So I decided to give it a good repot, and happy to say, a few months later, the leaves have all greened up absolutely amazing. There's a few little yellow leaves, like this one here, but the green is starting to go up and spread up rather than the yellow going down, as you can see. And loads of healthy green leaves now, and loads of new growth as well. These are all new little leaves that have appeared, doing ever so well here, and very happy to say it has recovered remarkable. Now I actually have this plant inside the house this year. I've got it inside my kitchen, close to a south facing window. I've took it outside now because it's sadly I tried to film indoors just now, and it's so dark today. The weather has been horrible for weeks, so dark. I mean, this is the middle of the day, guys. I'll just show you how cloudy it is, and in between that torrential downpours and thunder and lightning and the lot. So the lighting is better out here, so I've had to just take this out here just to film the video. But I normally have it in the kitchen, in the by the window, close to the window there with my other house plants, and it seems to do really well in that position. Prefers a bit more shade, indirect light with just a bit of partial, bit of occasional sun seems to make this do well. And hopefully next year I should get to see it bloom, because if you're not familiar with this epiphytic cactus, the German Empress, it has the most gorgeous display of beautiful pink blooms. As you can see here in this photograph, this is what this normally looks like with the blooms. So hopefully we'll be back to that again next year. So I hope you liked the little update on the Epiphyllum German Empress and the new gorgeous Ripsalis cuttings from Sylvia, my wonderful friend Sylvia. So thank you so much, Sylvia, again for them awesome cuttings, and happy to say they're new ones in my collection. And thank you all so much for watching, all your support. Before you go, do leave a comment if you can in the comments down below, even a heart or smiley face, because every comment really helps the algorithm. If you haven't done already, don't forget to subscribe. Do click the notification bell. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon for lots of flowering cactus photos on there. And also do check my website out, desertplantsofavalon.com. I want to wish you all a fantastic cactus powered day, and if you live somewhere sunny, send some sunshine to Ireland, guys.